Happy Saturday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show presented by OGs. Flavor your Fridays by heading to your zenleafdispensaries.com and use that code PHNX at checkout. Guys, it is officially time to meet us on Mill because Arizona State got the job done. Are you kidding me? 82-67 over the Vanderbilt Commodores. Bobby Hurley and company finishing third in the 2023 Las Vegas Showdown. We've got a full show for you guys today. We've obviously got closing time at the end. We've got bottle service. We've got heat index. We've got aftertaste. We've got the Bobby board. We have it all here at the PHNX Sun Devil Show. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and buckle up because we are going to break down what we just saw. JJ in the chat. Totri, we are back. Absolutely. Alonzo Gaffney did the damn thing. And of course, we're going to get into everything that we saw from Gaffney and the rest of the starters because it was a hell of an evening. But I want to start off with the ball movement tonight because ball movement and better shot selection, in my personal opinion, is exactly what led to this 15-point win for Arizona State. Normally, we're accustomed to watching Arizona State, at least this season, play a lot of ISO basketball, right? We're watching guys not necessarily be able to stretch the floor as much from behind the arc. So that's forcing guys to just simply play ISO ball or LA fitness ball is what I like to call it, right? You've got a couple guards that are going to drive and they're going to try and do their thing. And it hasn't worked a whole hell of a lot this season, but tonight it looked like a completely different team. We saw every single player getting involved that was on the court tonight, right? Frankie Collins had a night. Bryant Salabunga in the starting lineup. Jamiya Neal, who had a sneaky game, in my personal opinion. And then, of course, Alonzo Gaffney went off as well. Joe in the chat, shooter. Yeah, absolutely, man. This is something that I think can inspire the team. I think in terms of the fan perspective, this is Arizona State basketball at its best this season. We haven't seen the Sun Devils look this good this season. We've seen them play lights out defense night in and night out, but we're accustomed to seeing this team struggle offensively. That's what we saw against BYU just the other night. This looked like a completely different team tonight, right? And I know there's a lot of ASU fans that probably didn't tune into tonight's game after watching this team get embarrassed by BYU the night before. But when I tell you show after show, game after game, that just you got to have a little optimism. You got to have a little bit of understanding that this thing is going to take some time. And it's for nights like this, right? To go out and get a 15-point victory when in reality, how many of these guys were on different rosters last year, right? Frankie Collins, Alonzo Gaffney, Jamiya Neal, just the three returners for Arizona State this season. And not only did they have a big night, but they looked like they were in sync. They looked like they actually had chemistry. They looked like they were practicing with each other. And I think that is really a strong part of what led to ASU ultimately coming out on top tonight. BC, hard to have to play a back-to-back with such a late start. Absolutely. That's a really, really solid point, right? This is a team that played BYU late last night. And let's be real, it was kind of an embarrassing game for the Sun Devils. And for them to get right today, I think speaks volumes to not only the coaching staff, but it says a whole hell of a lot about the roster, about the camaraderie that these guys have in the locker room with one another. Because let's be real, it's not easy after getting dominated the way that they did night one in Las Vegas on a holiday, and then to turn around, play the early game, and get the job done. And they did it for two halves. Obviously, the first half was, lights out scoring. And I think there were probably some Sun Devil fans that were biting their nails down the stretch when at a certain point, Vanderbilt, I believe, had cut it down from 18 to 12 to 10. But Bobby Hurley and company, they got the job done. They did a lot of things right in this game. And again, this is the peak, I think, of what Arizona State basketball can be. Not to mention, we still haven't gotten word on Adam Miller. Can you imagine this team is able to play offensively like this, scoring 82 points night in, night out, and then you throw in a guy like Ace Wolf into the lineup? And Sean Phillips didn't play tonight, obviously still recovering from that foot sprain. So this is a promising move in the right direction for Arizona State. And ASU fans have every right to be happy because you saw unselfish basketball, right? Unselfish basketball is I think, rare in terms of collegiate basketball teams. But specifically, again, going back to the way we've seen Bobby Hurley teams play in the past, you look to last season, you look early to this season, at sometimes it just looks like guys are just pulling up just because they can't stretch the floor. They maybe don't trust their teammates. Regardless, tonight was seriously one of the most unselfish basketball games that I have seen from an Arizona State team in the last 3 years, the last 3 seasons that I've covered this team. And I think, again, that has a lot to do with the fact that your returning guys like Frankie Collins understand what Bobby Hurley is trying to do. He understands the offense, but the offense comes with being able to play ridiculous defense and forcing turnovers, creating those extra possessions, running in transition, and ultimately just gassing the opposing team. Side tripping with Carrie in the chat. Ball movement was so much better tonight. Absolutely. And I think if I'm Bobby Hurley, I am making this team watch this game every single night for the rest of the season, because this is the way that the Sun Devils need to move the ball if they are going to find life throughout the rest of the year. If you're going to compete in the Pac-12 with teams like Arizona, which last I checked was number 3 in the nation, if you're going to compete with USC in the AP Top 25, if you're going to compete with an undefeated Oregon team, not to mention there are a bunch of other great programs in the conference that when you get to Pac-12 play, you're not going to be able to just slouch and take a night off and hope that Alonzo Gaffney goes for 19 points. You're just not going to be able to do that. So you're going to need to see this team continue with this ball movement, continue with that unselfish basketball. And I think that is exactly how Arizona State can not only get through the rest of the season, but they can show fans, they can show the Big 12, and they can show the NCAA that this is a team that certainly is capable of being in the field when we get to March Madness. JJ in the chat a little bit earlier saying 29 field goals on 14 assists. We like that. You love to see unselfish basketball. And again, that starts with your point guard, right? That starts with a guy in Frankie Collins, who I know there's going to be a ton of people that are talking about the game that Alonzo Gaffney had, and rightfully so. But Frankie Collins, 12 points. He had 3 assists, 3 boards, 1 steal. Like, he, again, stuffed the stat sheet tonight in a way that I don't think a whole lot of people have come to appreciate because of the way that Arizona State has played basketball thus far this season. It hasn't always been pretty. But again, Frankie Collins, even on nights when ASU loses, Frankie Collins finds a way to try and give ASU fans hope. And in a night like tonight, to have a 15-point win and not be the leading scorer, Frankie Collins deserves as much love as he's gotten thus far all season long. Another point that I want to get to is the rotation tonight. We saw something different, and it's, I think for me, this needs to be the rotation that we see until Sean Phillips gets healthy, until we see what happens with Ace Wolf, Adam Miller, and his NCAA waiver. I liked the starters that they had out there tonight. Frankie Collins, Jose Perez, Jamiya, Neal, Alonzo Gaffney, and then Bryant Selabunge, we talked about it earlier in the week, coming to Arizona State. He was a double-double machine, and he didn't necessarily have the greatest performance from a scoring perspective against Vanderbilt, and that's okay. That's not what Vanderbilt, or that's not exactly what Bobby Hurley is intending when he throws a guy out there like Bryant Selabunge. A big issue for ASU so far this season is they're getting beat on the glass. So, and you don't have your 7-footer tonight, so what do? You throw in a guy in Bryant Selabunge who has a motor. He's able to give you somewhat of an interior presence. May not be the tallest forward on the team. I believe he's 6'8", but he packs a punch. This is a dude that is willing to back down defenders, and he's going to go crash the glass in a way that ASU just hasn't done effectively this season. You saw it tonight, and I think until proven otherwise, I think Bryant Selabunge definitely deserves a look at that 5 spot until Sean Phillips returns. And then side tripping again, nice minutes from the freshman. Yeah, Akil Watson and Braylon Green definitely having some decent games tonight. I think that's big for them. Again, coming off a game against BYU where it wasn't pretty. Akil only played 2 minutes tonight. And then you had Braylon Green, who had 5 points on 13 minutes. And my bad, Akil Watson actually played 6 minutes and had 2 points. So yeah, you're getting some really interesting minutes, I think, from the freshmen. I'm not going to say necessarily effective, but to be able to get those guys reps in a tournament on a neutral court against a Power 5 team like Vanderbilt, I think that is going to pave the way down the line. It's what we saw last season with Duke Brennan and Austin Nunez, right? When you get to the tournament or when you get late into Pac-12 play and you need a guy to step up and you need to throw some of these younger guys in the mix, they've got the minutes, right? They've got the experience. And it comes back to moments like this in non-conference play when you win a 15-point game over a Power 5 team and the freshmen are able to contribute. I think that, again, speaks volumes to the coaching staff. And then credit to those kids, right? Credit to Akil Watson, who literally got punched in the face last night against BYU, and then Braylon Green, who obviously got minutes in last night's game. So that's big for them, right? That is absolutely an important part of ASU basketball moving forward this season, and then developing and retaining these kids moving forward. But let's go ahead and get to By the Numbers, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union. Of course, the only number that matters is that final score. Arizona State coming out on top 82-67 over Vanderbilt. These two teams very different in terms of shooting percentage tonight. Vanderbilt shooting just 37.5%. ASU shooting a whopping 51.8% from the field. You look at the way these two teams shot from behind the arc. Vanderbilt 17.2%. The Sun Devils 45.5%. The free throw numbers 14 of 17 for Bobby Hurley's Devils, and then 14 of 20 for Vanderbilt. This is an interesting one. Turnovers, 10 turnovers for the Sun Devils, just 5 for Vanderbilt. Look, I think tonight, each and every one of these numbers stands out to me. We'll go one by one. You look at the shooting percentage for Arizona State. That's been the story all year, right? They've been able to play defense, but they haven't been able to score the basketball. That was an entirely different Arizona State offense tonight. We already talked about spacing the floor, being able to shoot the three ball, and then also having an interior presence on offense, ball movement, etc. This ASU offense was on top of its game tonight, right? And then you get to the three-point percentage. We haven't seen Arizona State fire a clip like that from 45%, I believe the number was, all season long. If you're able to shoot like that, you are going to create space, right? These early in the game moments, Vanderbilt not necessarily actually playing any sort of perimeter defense against some of these Arizona State three-point shooters because they haven't warranted it, right? You look all season long, ASU has been very inefficient in terms of being able to shoot the three ball. Tonight, they took advantage of what Vanderbilt was throwing at them at defense. And if you're able to do that, it is only going to make the offense so much better. And then how long have we talked about the free throw numbers for this team, right? Arizona State, night in, night out, not necessarily being able to capitalize from the charity stripe, going 14 of 17 tonight is big for ASU, right? To get those free points, especially when you are without some key guys like Ace Wolf and then Sean Phillips. And then the turnovers is an interesting number because we're accustomed to Arizona State forcing so many turnovers, specifically Frankie Collins creating those extra opportunities off of steals. Tonight, they got it done with the opportunities that they were presented with. They didn't necessarily have to go out there and create a bunch of extra possessions. Now, I know Vanderbilt only had 5 turnovers, but ASU still playing smothering defense. And while you may not necessarily get a turnover out of that, you force some bad shots, you're able to get a lead like ASU was, and then they start pressing and trying to shoot the three ball that is Vanderbilt, and it was just not falling, only shooting, I believe, 17% from behind the arc. Look, we're going to continue this conversation about ASU's 15-point victory over Vanderbilt. But first, I want to tell you guys a little bit about OG's. OG's obviously flavoring Fridays. They always have great deals, and now that the holiday season, at least in terms of Thanksgiving, is over, I think the best part about it is you got the Thanksgiving leftovers. You got the turkey, you got the mashed potatoes, you got the mac and cheese. You have it all. And you know what is going to make that food hit even better? In OG's or 2. Okay, guys? Our buds at OG's brands are back at it with exclusive deals for PHNX listeners, and they've made it super easy for you to score these savings. Get 25% off any OG's products at your neighborhood Zenleaf location from now until November 30th when you place an online order and use our code. Just head to zenleafdispensaries.com, find your closest location, order your favorite OG's gummies for pickup, and enter discount PHNX to get 25% off at checkout. This deal is exclusive to our PHNX listeners, and a reminder, it's available only for online pickup orders. Discount code PHNX is active until November 30th. Now, another great thing about the holiday season is holiday scratchers. Guys, if you're looking for a Christmas gift, or maybe When you get to the new year, maybe your friend got you some holiday scratchers, some AZ lottery ones, and maybe you're going to bring in the new year. Maybe you're going to celebrate Christmas with a few extra dollars. Holiday scratchers from Arizona Lottery make last-minute shopping easy, and they make a perfect gift. There is a scratcher for everyone on your list. They're just $1, guys. They start at just $1. It is absolutely worth it with top prizes up to $500,000. Go out and buy your holiday scratchers today. Now, big part of AZ Lottery and the holiday scratchers, right, is it's a lottery. It's 1 in a million sometimes. But tonight, in terms of ASU basketball, they had themselves a 1 in a million player. Ladies and gentlemen, bottle service. We don't even got to try and dance around who it's going to, because it is the one, the only praying mantis himself, Alonzo Gaffney. 19 points for the tall man, 5 of 7 from three-point land. Alonzo Gaffney had 4 boards, 1 assist, 4 blocks, and then those 19 points, he had an 11 plus minus, his best game at Arizona State. And if you're a Sun Devil fan, this is an incredibly impressive performance for a guy who everybody is counted out. Everybody counted him out coming into the season. They counted him out last year. And when people heard that Alonzo Gaffney was going to be in the starting lineup at certain points this season, they rolled their eyes. Because Alonzo Gaffney, for the majority of Arizona State career, hasn't been known for being an offensive weapon. He's been known for what he does on defense. He did that tonight. Defensively, he had a hell of a game, right? What I say, 4 blocks. Tonight, though, again, the same way you saw Arizona State's potential, you saw Alonzo Gaffney's potential to have, 17 first half points, which was a career high for him in a game, and then finishing with 19, obviously slowing it down in the second half. Just an absolutely massive evening for Alonzo Gaffney. And look, the love and the apology needs to be just as loud as all the disrespect was, right? Because there's people out there tweeting at Alonzo Gaffney, tweeting at the team that they don't want to see him pull up from 3, that he isn't a Division I basketball player. Well, I think tonight, especially when he got hot from behind the arc, you saw that Alonzo Gaffney is certainly capable of being a real threat on offense. And if he is able to find that level of consistency night in and night out, watch out, because Alonzo Gaffney is certainly going to play his way into stardom at ASU. Again, only if it comes with a level of consistency on offense. That is something that I think if you are Bobby Hurley, you need to have that conversation with Gaffney, right? Let's be real. He doesn't do this every single night. There's a reason that the thumbnail is the Gaffney game, because he doesn't do this every single night. But if he could, then Arizona State would be an absolute threat. They would be an absolute problem, not only in the Pac-12, but on a national scale. Again, offensively, you've got to find some level of consistency. And tonight, Alonzo Gaffney absolutely deserves some flowers. Side tripping with Kerry, the Pac-12 Network's Don McClain has consistently commented on how nice Gaffney's long ball shots look and that they were going to eventually fall. Yeah, I mean, look, tonight they fell. I think there was some ridiculous stat, like he was 0 of 17 or 1 of 17 coming into tonight from behind the arc. And then they kept mentioning it. He got hot. He hit 2, then he hit 3, then he hit 4, then he hit 5, right? Like, I think at a certain point, ASU fans, if you're watching the game or you're reading it on Twitter, you're like, wait, what? There's got to be a typo, right? Like, there's no way Alonzo Gaffney is doing this, because we haven't seen him do it before. But if you go back and you watch his high school highlight tapes, dude, this is what Alonzo Gaffney was doing at the high school level. This is what got him Division I offers. Like, he is certainly capable of doing it. They just haven't been able to put it together yet at Arizona State. And tonight against Vanderbilt, again, 19 points. Alonzo Gaffney was the best player on the court tonight. And I don't think anyone is going to argue that. Now, he wasn't the only great Sun Devil tonight, and that leads us to Heat Index. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 3 Arizona State Sun Devils trending up, starting with Bryant Selabunge. I talked a little bit about it before we actually got into Heat Index, but Bryant Selabunge, again, only 5 points. He played 24 minutes, but he led the team in plus minus with 14. And I think a big part of what we saw from Bryant Selabunge is, again, his ability to crash the glass and give this ASU team an interior presence that they aren't used to having. Bryant Selabunge, if you compare his game to what ASU had last season in Warren Washington, they are 2 very different players. Warren Washington was a tall man. Bryant Selabunge That is a big man. 6 boards tonight. He had a steal. He had the 5 points, and he didn't really score too much. I believe in the first half, he had a couple opportunities that he took advantage of outside of, I believe, the second or third possession for Arizona State. He had a travel on a breakaway. But overall, Bryant Salabunga, I think, showed a lot of ASU fans why Bobby Hurley brought him to Tempe. Moving forward with Heat Index, the next player that we're going to be talking about, Jose Perez. I said it on the broadcast. This man got here in October. Guys, I don't think that gets enough. That doesn't get talked about enough. Like Jose Perez being shoved into a new program, showing up where there's already a bunch of guys who just went on a foreign trip with each other, and you're the outside man, right? You're a little bit of an older player. You've been playing college basketball for some time now, and there are times where watching Jose Perez play basketball just kind of bugs me. Sometimes just his style of play isn't really what I'm accustomed to seeing, but he reminds me of Chris Paul. He reminds me of Chris Paul, the way that he is just able to draw fouls night in and night out. Like, he is always at the charity stripe. He doesn't necessarily get the best looks, but he finds ways to get refs in his back pocket and blow that damn whistle when ASU needs points. Like, there's a point where Vanderbilt is clawing and scratching to get back in this game. Offensively, again, Arizona State, they're sputtering a little bit. That's fine. You just give it to Jose, and he's going to draw a foul. Like, that's exactly what he does. And Jose Perez tonight was 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He had 50% of ASU's made free throws, and that's because he knows how to get to the charity stripe. He was the second leading scorer for the Sun Devils tonight. He had 15 points, not to mention he had 6 boards, he had 4 assists, he had a steal. Jose Perez did just as much as everybody else tonight in Arizona State's win. And again, he's not necessarily going to get all the love the same way that Frankie Collins doesn't necessarily get all the love, but Jose Perez definitely a player trending up for Arizona State. And then the final member of Heat Index tonight, the one, the only, Frankie Collins. Look, we already talked about the box score earlier for Frankie. 12 points, 4 of 6 from the field, very efficient. I loved that he didn't take any ill-advised threes tonight. He was 100% 4 for 4 from the charity stripe, which is huge. 3 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, a 7 plus minus in 27 minutes. He was efficient, right? He was your point guard. That's exactly what you want to see from Frankie Collins every single game. I don't need him to go for 20, okay? I don't need him to have a double-double every night. I don't need him to put the team on his back. I just need Frankie Collins to be Frankie Collins, and that's what he was tonight. He was a point guard for Arizona State. He led the charge, okay? I know he wasn't the leading scorer. I know he didn't have the most assists. I know he didn't have the steal numbers that he usually does. But this is a guy that, in Frankie Collins, that has found a way to be able to find a rhythm, to find a consistency with each game, which I think is an important thing, because in college basketball, you get guys that go out there, score 20 points a game, right? They get 10 assists per game. And then they have nights where they're off, where they go for 4 points, or they go for 3 assists, and then the next game they get back to what they're used to. But I think an important part of college basketball, and specifically stars when you're talking about college basketball players, is to have that level of consistency. And Frankie Collins has developed that. You saw him last year. He was a hit or miss guy. So far this season, every single game, Frankie Collins has played a massive role, win or loss. I don't care. Even in the loss to BYU the other night on Thanksgiving, Frankie Collins did what Frankie Collins needed to do to help Arizona State at least have a chance in that game early on. And tonight, Frankie Collins, again, deserves just as much love as everybody else. Now, I know we've talked about the numbers, but just going through what the starters did tonight, right? Bryant Salabunga, 5 points. Jose Perez, 15. Gaffney, 19. Jamiya, 14. Frankie, 12. Are you kidding me? Like, you do this every single game? You do this every single game? Arizona State's going to be a problem. It's just plain and simple. They said on the broadcast, this is a team in Arizona State that plays defense, and that is a much tougher thing to do than a lot of people understand, to go out there and guard the athletes that they're guarding every single game. Now, you're able to turn it into an offensive show. That's huge. That's huge. If you have a team that can play defense with the best of them and then also turn in 82 points at the end of the night, watch out. Watch out now. We said it. We said it night one. This is a team that can certainly be a problem if they reach their potential. And again, tonight you saw what Arizona State is capable of. JJ in the chat, Michelle Gardner just tweeted, Hurley's used a different starting lineup in all 5 games. Well, I am going to hope that Arizona State and Bobby Hurley decide to go with this same starting 5 in the next game, because I'll tell you what, this one worked, and it helped them get that 15-point win against Vanderbilt, which is what we are currently talking about. Moving on, I hope there's some people out there that bet on this game, because the opening line was, I believe, -1.5 in favor of Arizona State. Now, again, something we haven't really talked about is Vanderbilt, their best player. He was out tonight, and they had another one that I believe was ill, or he just didn't end up playing. So Vanderbilt, without two players who do contribute heavily to this team, didn't play. But regardless, that got the line closer to 1.5. And if you're an ASU fan, I hope you took it. And I hope you took it on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Go ahead and download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com and sign up with code PHNX. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account and place a wager in the amount of at least $10 at standard odds price, a qualifying bet. And once you have placed a qualifying bet, you're going to receive $200 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your wager. Now it is time for a BetMGM parlay picks, guys. I am rocking with the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens, and I am parlaying it with the Arizona State football money line over the Wildcats. Call me a homer, call me biased, I don't care. I think Arizona State gets the job done against the Wildcats in Tempe with Jaden Rashada at the starter. The story is writing itself. That's my BetMGM parlay picks, guys. Again, sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10, and you guys are going to receive that $200 we talked about instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Go ahead and check out the show notes for full details. And Allison and Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Now, look, for the majority of these shows, I have sunglasses on. But today, it's literally like 8:35 at night. I'm not going to be wearing my sunglasses right now, but I'll tell you, I'm going to be wearing my sunglasses out in Tempe tomorrow, getting ready for that Illegal Pete's meetup that we have. Shady Rays, the best sunglasses out there. You can shop the entire collection at their brand new location, Kierland Commons, a full-stop shop for all things Shady Rays. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And Shady Rays is currently in their biggest sale of the year for Black Friday. Don't miss out on the best deals for shades, snow goggles, and prescription sunglasses. Just go to shadyrays.com and try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Let's go ahead and get to aftertaste. So I'm going to ask everybody in the chat, and if Danielle wants to chime in here, she is more than welcome to. But everybody in the chat, what was served into the hole under your nose? And I'll tell you what was served into the hole under my nose. This one I knew exactly what it was going to be, because this is the Las Vegas Showdown, right? Arizona State had a rough evening last night against BYU. Nobody's denying that. Tonight, it was literally a different team out there against Vanderbilt. And so I'll tell you what, this morning, before I went to the gym, I went to Circle K, right? I went to Circle K. I was getting my energy drink, and I had my Shady Rays on, and I'm not even joking. This is exactly what happened today. I'm going over to check out, and there's a guy at the cashier stand getting ready to check out, and he's got a little plastic baggie that he got, right, when people get their hot dogs or whatever they're getting from Circle K, all their snacks. And in this plastic baggie, he had a hot dog. No bun, no condiments. He just had a naked little hot dog just in this little plastic bag. But in the same plastic baggie, I'm not joking, guys, he had a donut. He had a donut with this just hot dog in the same plastic bag. And that's the aftertaste of this Las Vegas Showdown, is you just have a weird weird mix of a hot dog. You have a like strawberry donut with sprinkles in there. And yeah, there are going to be moments where you get hot dog in the donut and it doesn't taste great. Or you get donut in the hot dog and same thing. Just you're like, oh, this is just weird to be a part of. And then there's going to be those great moments like tonight where you get the donut by itself and it's just so damn sweet, or you get the hot dog by yourself and it's exactly what you wanted. That is the aftertaste for me. Side tripping with Carrie. I had a vanilla shake with Kahlua as the game played out. Perfecto. Oh my goodness, that sounds incredible. Are you kidding me? That is an absolute perfect aftertaste for this one. But guys, head to the comments. Let me know exactly what this aftertaste was for you. Let's go ahead and check out the Bobby board for the 2023 Las Vegas Showdown. We've split it, right? ASU finishing in third place. They had that loss to BYU, and then obviously the 15-point victory over Vanderbilt. Taking a look as to what Bobby Hurley's Sun Devils have on deck. They've obviously got a couple games down the stretch that are going to be big in terms of confidence, and then also their record. You got Sam Houston on Wednesday night. You got a date with San Francisco, which I know there are a lot of Arizona State fans that can't wait to potentially get revenge. I know that's going to be the Zane Meeks game for everybody, and then SMU Wednesday, December 6th, before playing San Diego on December 9th. So a couple games that I think Arizona State in reality should probably be favored. And if Arizona State is able to come out on top in those games, I think that will be massive again for confidence, for being able to keep this offensive chemistry and synergy together. I think those four games specifically are going to be massive. You look at that Sam Houston game on Wednesday, it's not necessarily a game that anybody is going to be like, oh, like, let me tune into Arizona State and Sam Houston. But if you're Bobby Hurley and you're Arizona State, you have to make sure that your team doesn't look past this Sam Houston team. There's not a bunch of I'll be real. I don't know any of the stars on Sam Houston basketball. Okay. Now come Wednesday, I'll know everything there is to know about that team. But sitting here Friday, November 24th, looking at Arizona State basketball against Sam Houston, ASU should take care of business. They absolutely should. There should be no reason that we have to do a walk of shame next Wednesday. So if you're Bobby Hurley, take care of business. If you're the Sun Devils, take care of business. Enjoy this 15-point win for the 24-hour period like every athlete does, and then get right back to business. And you got to be able to keep up the things that we've talked about in terms of crashing the glass, in terms of ball movement, spreading the floor. Love the rotation tonight. Like, these are things that we need to see from this Arizona State team next Wednesday and throughout the remainder of the season if they're going to continue to grow. ASU took a big step forward tonight. Next Wednesday against Sam Houston, and in the games after that, we can't be sitting here talking about ASU taking a step back. Offensively, you just need to improve. Defensively, you just need to improve. That's what the great teams do. That's what the teams that are playing late in the year do. That's what teams that make it through their conference tournament with ease do. So if ASU is going to be one of those teams, you just need to see growth, and you need to see growth against the great teams. You need to see growth against the good teams, and you need to see growth against the bad teams. Side tripping with Carrie in the chat. Hurley actually smiled and laughed with the ref. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Yeah, Bobby Hurley tonight. He was rocking the sport coat, and now Bobby usually brings a sport coat to games, but I don't know if I've ever seen him actually wear the jacket like past tip. He was actually wearing that sport coat for the majority of the first half, I believe. It's, again, Bobby Hurley is just an electric coach, and I don't think there's a whole lot of Arizona State fans that truly appreciate Bobby Hurley for being Bobby Hurley, because in the wins and the losses, my goodness, does he give you some moments on the sidelines. Now, if you are an ASU fan and you're looking to get to an ASU game, or if you're just maybe trying to have a nice, super cool gift for somebody come Christmas time, maybe go check out Game Time. Get some tickets. They've got great deals. I'm actually using Game Time to get some tickets for my little brother for his Christmas gift. Game Time, seriously, one of the best ticketing apps, if not the best, out there. Game Time with my absolute favorite feature, where you can actually buy the tickets and then you can pay later, especially if you don't want to be throwing a bunch of money on Black Friday, or if you're doing it on Cyber Monday, or if you just want to do a little payment plan, Game Time has exactly what you need. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now, while we're talking about money, saving money, and the places to put your money, guys, Desert Financial is the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University. And for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there is no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It is the only place you could show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit card branded with your favorite teams. Bring the boom and get fired up with the Arizona State University Visa debit card. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. Now, look, we've already talked about bottle service, Alonzo Gaffney. We talked about the starters. We talked about the improvement on offense. There is a lot that we have gone over here in the last 37 minutes. So what is something or 3 things that Arizona State fans should keep with them moving forward? Well, DJ, it is a game, starting with the first and foremost, most important part, feel good, guys, because Arizona State got the job, a 15-point victory for a third-place finish in the 2023 Las Vegas Showdown. Fans, you get the luxury of enjoying this one a little bit longer. Also, respect him. And by him, I'm talking about Alonzo Gaffney. I said it earlier, but the apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect. Alonzo Gaffney having a career night at Arizona State and proving that he could play at the Division I level. And finally, ball movement. That is the thing that is sticking with me. It should stick with the fans the most. We need to see Arizona State continue offensively with this level of ball movement and stretching the floor throughout the remainder of the season. Guys, hit that like button. That is going to do it for the PHNX Sun Devils postgame show tonight. Again, Arizona State coming out on top over Vanderbilt, 82-67. A couple things before we get out of here. Go ahead, give us a follow at the PHNX _Sun Devils on social media. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You can follow Danielle at Abraca Danielle on social media. Also, head to the PHNX locker. Take advantage of the Black Friday deal that we have going on for you guys. I know it's up to like 90% off on a lot of what we have. Also, spend $75, get a $15 gift card. I know we've got some new t-shirts out there. Specifically, look at that new ASU one in the far right corner. You got A Mountain over there. Definitely go check that out. I believe it's like $30, and it is some high quality stuff, guys. Again, we appreciate everybody tuning in on this post-game show. A couple things before we get out of here. If you're looking for a place to maybe pregame the Territorial Cup, head to Illegal Pete's tomorrow, Tempe location. I'm going to be there. So are a bunch of other people from PHNX that you all love, and a bunch of diehards are going to be out there as well. We can all mob to the game together. It is going to be a blast. Go Devils, and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.